A Jedi craves not these things.
This is where the fun begins.
Oh my God! The government is here! Run, E.T., run!
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
And here we go.
This is the CJH podcast where we talk movies, TV shows, fan theories, and more. Edition of the CJH podcast today. The topic will be fan theories for the MCU. Welcome to the first ever episode of the CJH podcast. Today is May 29th, 2019, and here on the first ever episode, we are going to be talking leaks for the MCU and Star Wars, Episode 9. So sit down, buckle up, and you're in for the ride. Lots of spoilers ahead, people.
Only now, at the end, do you understand? Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design. Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Palpatine is back, but not how you expect. A copy of his consciousness is held within an item, the MacGuffin. He possesses a body and ruled as Snoke. When Snoke was cut in half, the consciousness returns the MacGuffin. Kylo needs to destroy that MacGuffin to stop Palpatine reclaiming the First Order through another host. Knights of Ren return to Kylo with info on where they think it is. Kylo and Rey team up to destroy Palpatine once and for all. The twist is, the Knights of Ren, a Knights of Ren member, played by Matt Smith, is already possessed when they return to Kylo, and eventually he turns on him. Lucasfilm have been leaving breadcrumbs and have already made this possible in canon with the Moment mask from the comics. Palpatine is the main villain since Episode 1. Chances are, if you were to ask a random stranger what their favorite Star Wars movie was, you'd probably hear the title of one of the originals or one of Disney's sequel films, depending on how old the stranger is. Of course, you could always find someone who, for whatever reason, prefers George Lucas' prequel trilogy. In which case, you'd be amazed, because not many people love that trilogy. I, for one, do. Don't get us wrong, there are some redeeming qualities to be found, many of which I would love to explain. However, the original three completely changed movies forever. Many people would agree that Ewan McGregor was the best part of the prequels, and insiders are telling us that Ewan is set to return as Obi-Wan for a Disney Plus series, and for future movies as well.
Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows it?
The newest crazy Star Wars theory for The Last Jedi, I guess, is Luke Skywalker was a Force ghost the entire time. And controversial Star Wars movie The Last Jedi saw a very different Luke Skywalker to the positive one from the original trilogy, which has been done to Jake Skywalker by Mark Hamill himself and many of the fans. A hermit on Act 2, he was reluctant to train Rey in the way of the Force. But what if there is more to his distance than meets the eye? What if, as a new popular fan theory argues, he was a Force ghost the entire time? Reddit user Swing and a Drive wrote, he was killed when Kylo Ren attacked the Jedi Academy a decade ago. Luke didn't know how to turn into a ghost like Yoda and Obi-Wan did, and even Qui-Gon. So he lost in some magical Force plane of existence.
What are you, a fucking moron?
What are you waiting for, you dumb, stupid fuck?
And couldn't really materialize before people. That is why he couldn't save Han. He couldn't kill Snoke. He only projected visions into people's minds in one particular place in the galaxy that is strong with the Force. So, we are seeing Rey on this island having visions about Luke, and Luke struggling to materialize himself as a Force ghost. They added, he's not really there. We're seeing everything from Rey's point of view, only visions of Luke. This is why we don't see Luke talking to Chewie, because Chewie can't see him. R2 was the closest sentient being to Luke when he died a decade ago, so some part of Luke was in R2, which is why R2 was broken in The Force Awakens. Luke is not some asshole who doesn't care about his friends. He's a confused ghost that disconnected from the universe of the living. Then once he's able to figure out how to project his ghost to the world, he immediately goes and saves everyone. Whatever the case, Luke will definitely be a Force ghost in The Rise of Skywalker. And as the new official Star Wars book seems to be teasing, he might be joined by Anakin's and Obi-Wan's Force ghost too. Bringing them back would be a perfect tribute to closing the 9 episodes spanning Skywalker. Honestly, my take on this is that it is people, they're trying to justify for what they did to Luke. I know I myself in the past have tried to defend Last Jedi for months and months and months. I used to call these people man babies and toxic fans, but I didn't really look at it from the bigger picture. And I noticed last time I watched Last Jedi, and I'll get into this in later episodes, but on why I left the whole defending Last Jedi thing, is that there were problems in the movie that I didn't really notice at first. And the more I watched the movie, the more I noticed these problems. So, like I said, I'll get further into this later in episodes. So, stay tuned, of course. So, there's that.
Bud Light presents Real American Heroes.
Real American heroes.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
Mr. Really Bad Toupee Wearer.
More than any neon sign or exploding scoreboard ever could, your chrome dome cover says, "Hey guys, look at me."
What could you be thinking?
You think it looks natural, but it couldn't look phonier if it had a chin strap.
Couldn't fool a blind man.
Made of space-age fibers, it can repel anything. Rain, wind, snow, and especially young women.
I don't think so.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, Mr. Stud in a Rug. Then crack open another for that thing on your head.
I don't think it's all straight.
Bud Light beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
A little extended add-on to this story. So, post Far From Home, we now know that scene was completely cut. The rumor is that Norman Osborn, they couldn't find an actor. They had someone in plan, David Morrissey, but they just couldn't get it ready in time. The plan really is to release that scene for a later movie. But after it was leaked, it really they wanted to cut it out. So that was a major thing. So I hope this clears up any things. So yep, that happens.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany. I'm friends with Merlin Olsen, too. He comes over on occasion.
There are absolutely no plans to add Deadpool to the MCU in Spider-Man 3, but Sony desperately wants Tom Hardy's Venom in this movie. Deadpool had his own movies but never showed up in the main X-Men films, and it will be the exact same for the MCU, which makes us wonder, will Deadpool ever enter the MCU in cameos? In actual scenes? Who knows? More on this soon. Spider-Man Far From Home will introduce Norman Osborn in the post-credits, along with the Sinister Six, or possibly Thunderbolts. We're not sure. But what we are sure of, that Scorpion, Mysterio, and the Chameleon are all in Far From Home. This is an extended cut of episode 1. So, Marvel TV shows are bringing street-level heroes to Disney+. The article is by Tech Radar. Marvel's head of television hints at what's to come. Marvel's head of television, Jeff Loeb, has finally spoken out about the cancellations of the Netflix's Marvel shows, and while reassuring fans that more unannounced Marvel TV shows are definitely in the works for Disney+, many were devastated by the cancellation of Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Not Me, Daredevil, and Punisher, and of course the team-up show The Defenders, all which have ceased to be renewed, and will at some point be removed from Netflix completely. According to Loeb, the decision also came from as a bit of a surprise to Marvel. We were blindsided, and the things that were to come weren't finished yet, says Loeb, who added that the television arm wasn't sure about what the future would hold for it. It did look like maybe we were going to go out. Then suddenly we were rising again like a phoenix. With Disney launching its own streaming platform, Disney Plus, which will be a home for all sorts of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Fox, and even Lucasfilm titles, you can be certain Marvel fans will be provided for, while the TV format offers avenues for smaller stories that wouldn't be told on the big screen. Loeb wouldn't be drawn on details on what other Marvel TV shows were on its way, but made clear the distinction between the TV spin-offs of MCU characters coming to Disney Plus, like Hawkeye, Loki, WandaVision, and Marvel's television's own projects, which kind of means they're not canon. Well, first of all, I have something to make clear, make something very clear, which is those shows are created and run and responsibility of the motion picture studio. Secondly, Marvel Television will be doing shows with Disney Plus. We just haven't announced what we're going to do there. He also hinted at more street-level heroes in vein of the Defenders, who are generally trying just to save themselves, to save the neighborhood, rather than save the universe. Sort of like Spider-Man. What could these new Marvel TV shows be? There's no shortage of characters to draw from. Marvel's comics' long history of publishing, starting back from 1939 under the banner of Timely Comics, and it's hard to tell who we might see. We could well get some more supernatural heroes, given the plans for Vampire Hunter Blade, Ghost Rider, and Jared Leto's upcoming Morpheus, the Living Vampire. On a lighter side, we could also see someone like Squirrel Girl, a young superhero able to, yes, communicate with squirrels, and is a character that former editor-in-chief at Marvel, Joe Quesada, sorry, I can't pronounce shit, has said he'd always wanted to do more with. With Iron Man now removed from the MCU too, spoilers for Endgame, it may be time to introduce a successor. Spider-Man obviously is trying to do that, but as of 2015, the character Ree Williams, published as Ironheart, is an African-American MIT student who makes a suit of armor in the style of Iron Man, who is recruited by Tony Stark to become a superhero. And I guess would be exciting introduction to either the MCU or a more college-focused TV series. My personal belief is the New Warriors. I always, I grew up reading that series, and I really, it really connected to me. I loved the old series for that. Anyway, the recent merger of the 21st Century Fox also opens up plenty of avenues from the Fantastic Four and X-Men characters. It's likely we'll get reboots of both franchises in some form, though whether they'd be introduced into the already bloated cinematic universe, where will mutants fit into these things, or given the Disney Plus treatment, is anyone's guess. So yeah, that's basically what it is. So my thoughts is, honestly, I think they're gonna reboot Daredevil. I think they're gonna reboot Luke Cage, Iron Fist. It probably as a Heroes for Hire reboot. As much as I love Punisher, I love John Bernthal's Punisher. I love Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I really do. They're perfect for characters. But it's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen. Feige's already gonna reboot the X-Men. Who knows if Ryan Reynolds is sticking around? They say he is. I honestly don't believe it. But this is the reality we gotta face with, it's just gonna happen. So, who knows? And, we'll stay tuned, I guess, to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts.
Thanks for watching this week's video. This is my first ever upload onto this channel, and I have no clue whether or not I should continue making this kind of content. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more, then please like and subscribe. I'm also trying to figure out my own format right now, so if you have any ideas on how I can improve my content and this channel, please let me know in the comments below. All feedback, both good and bad, is hugely appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on The Closer Look.
So that's all for this podcast. Since it's the beginning, I'd like to thank everyone that came and listened. And next week, or the following weeks, we shall talk more leaks or rants, maybe some movie reviews. So stay tuned and enjoy this next song. Cheers!
Wanna make you happy, I just wanna make you proud. But I've been stuck in this water for weeks now. I see you with the others, it breaks my tiny heart. All I wanted is to please you from the very start. You leave me barely anything, you insult me all day. I don't understand why you would treat me this way. I thought that maybe things changed when you gave me a name. But no, what the shit is dead, there is no justice for Jack. Why no justice for Jack?